question is process orientation versus outcome orientation. I want you to think about it for a second. Would you rather have your kid finish first in the state in a race with his slowest or her slowest time of the year, or finish fifth in the state with his or her fastest time of the year? Think about that.
What was the prize again?
State champion. State champion. But you know, the funny thing is, the colleges are going to look at those times more, you know, than that. But I think most of us know that most of our society is outcome oriented. You know, these kids in golf, they would rather shoot an 80 and win a tournament than shoot a 75 and finish fourth, right? Most of them. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to like that 80 maybe, but you know. So you want to become process oriented and not think about the outcome. And I talked about this last time, but are you an inner gamer or an outer gamer? Are you looking to reward process or outcome? So what does it mean? You know, you might be able to see this or not, but what does it mean to be process oriented? What would that mean as a parent? What does that look like?
Worry about what's in front of you, steps, right? Like I was telling kids the other day, we hit each shot one at a time. And as long as it goes straight, I don't care what else happens after that. Instead of worrying about, what if I get a 3 on the hole, what do I get, right? I think that's more outcome.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, taking it one shot at a time, not the overall score.
Correct.
And we talked about this last time. It sometimes helps when kids, I know they're playing today, but like when they can't even see where the ball's going. Neil was working with them today with this fancy putting device, and you didn't look once to see whether or not the ball was going in the hole. But I don't know if you noticed, but like a couple of kids, if it went in the hole, they were happy. And that's not what Neil's trying to teach him. He's like, well, you know, you're accelerating too much, or you got a bad angle on this club, or it's coming up too high. And he didn't care less where that ball was going. That was not even the first thing in his mind. He's working totally with that machine on the process. And some of the things that you look at when you're process oriented is
Can we go back one second?
Go ahead.
To what Rodney said, because he said he set Mackenzie a goal to hit the ball straight.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that an outcome too?
It is an outcome too.
No, just
No, I'm with you. I felt that.
because I feel that's more pressure.
Outcome embedded in outcome.
You know, it's just like I want to beat the score
Yeah.
or to hit the ball straight. You know, and you know, I'm in the same boat as everyone else in this room. I personally, I want to get better, and I want to know. And it's tough because you feel sometimes you play well, and you might not scored so well, or do you want to score quite well and know you haven't really played well? And so, you know, like you say, your analogy of the cross country, and then where is your thinking and what are your goals? Because when I go play a tournament, I don't honestly set a goal to win. I don't set a goal for it. I just don't really set a goal. I just go out there and try to play my best. I don't think of anything else like an outcome of where I need to play or what I've got to shoot or anything else. But I certainly don't get, I've got to hit I don't set a target like I'm going to hit every fairway today or I'm going to hit every green or this or that. There's nothing like that ever goes in my brain. So I don't know, I'm not sure that's the right
Yeah, straight may not be
That's
the
what I was
best.
But let me say this, let me qualify, because our target is a little bit narrow. I'm contrasting that against, hey, don't worry about the ant bed, or yeah, there may be a hawk over there, we're not going to be worried about the ball. So I want to keep her focused on, like, what's my next thing in golf and not the surroundings. So
Well, one really good thing about that was it was one stroke at a time and not the score.
Yeah.
And that's getting more process oriented. But like you said, Neil, we're going to look at all these different things, and I'm going to talk to you about some YouTubes to watch. But it's even better when you're encouraging them. You know, some of the words I have at the bottom is, what do you reward? Effort. Like, I want you to get out there. Is it your daughter?
Yeah.
Kenzie?
Yeah.
Kenzie, I want you to go out there and do your best.
Yeah.
That's a process. Persistence. I was working with a parent today on the golf course, and his kids were, if a shot went wrong, they were picking up and wanting to play again. And I like that. That was persistence. So, and that's why I said, it's like, oh, that's good. I like that persistence. Improvement. You know, did you improve today? You know, the kind of questions you ask your kid after a round of golf are critical. We're going to get into this later, but you don't ask, did you win the tournament today? It's like, did you improve? What did you learn? So, you know, the bottom thing, here's like the things, most of the things that you're rewarding. Persistence, improvement, learning, and strategy. Does that make sense? Those are 5. There's a few more we're going to talk about, but those are 5 really good things to reinforce. Not how did you do compared to everybody else, and even to some extent, not even how did you do compared to your previous score, because like you were working on some of these kids' putts today. Well, even like that one girl, you changed her whole grip. Her putting is going to get worse. It seemed to get better almost immediately, but it may get worse for a while.
She hated it.
She hated
Yeah,
it,
I mean, she didn't
but
like
she was,
the feeling.
but she was putting better.
Oh, yeah.
But usually when you change something that radical, it was a radical change in her grip. And the way Neil was teaching her was really good because he was just playing with it and thinking about it and experimenting and encouraging her to experiment. But if she's thinking about her, did I have fewer putts on the green than last tournament, she may be sorely disappointed. Yet, you know, her putting motion may be much better, and eventually the scores are going to follow. So you don't want to reward results. So I love Coach John Wooden. His book, Wooden on Leadership, is a great one I used to teach with out of Sanford when I taught sports psychology there. Best coach that ever lived according to ESPN and CNN, and he never once mentioned winning. I don't mind thinking about winning some. I mean, he was almost so process-oriented. But he never once mentioned winning, and yet he was the greatest and most winning coach ever. What did he talk about? One of my favorite points of Coach John Wooden was, you treat every basket like it's going to be missed so that you're always ready for that rebound. It's because a lot of people just kind of hang back if the ball's up in the air. But he said, you box out, you think of every shot as a miss. Or get down on defense. He would show them what to do. They also did a study with Coach Wooden where they were interviewing listened to his words. I think psychologists went and coded it, and he was about 3-to-1 positive, negative. Now I encourage you to be 5-to-1, but like he was more positive than negative. And mostly what he was, and I don't know exactly what they're coding, he never much yelled, but he was showing them and modeling and staying in that process. His favorite team was his first team at UCLA that had the worst record of any team he had. And that was because they didn't have very good talent. But he said that they outplayed them, performed themselves. So you can always use these moments to a lot of times great coaches, if their kid was have a birdie, that's when you can criticize them, something about their stroke. But when they have a really poor hole and you see that maybe they've kept emotional control or maybe they use good strategy, then you can reinforce that. So think about, because normally and we all say it, I like it, good shot or whatever, but it's more important to put out those rewards when they're doing something that's in that process deal as opposed to the outcome. I highly encourage you to watch Carol Dweck's YouTube called The Power of Yet. And she says, don't praise intelligence or talent. This is taking this into academia. Don't praise intelligence or talent. Praise things like focus, persistence, strategy. So they designed this software based on her principles. And they took these kids, I told you last time, they took them out in Seattle, they took these kids off an Indian reservation and put them in this software that instead of, most software for math, little smiley faces and stuff jump up when you get the answer right. This instead encouraged strategy, that's what Neil was doing with this girl today, trying a different way with her hands. It encouraged focus, paying attention, and it encouraged improvement. And these kids, like I said, on the Indian reservation outperformed the Microsoft kids. And they took kids in New York City, and inner city kids outperformed the Manhattan elite kids over time. by rewarding process instead of outcomes. So this is how you take it to academia. What are we going to reinforce? And she uses the power of yet. She talked about this one school that did not give a grade of failing. They gave a grade of not yet. That's really what inspired a lot of this in her. And so even the words yet and not yet create persistence and higher performance. And so everything that we do, we can get better at. That's the amazing thing about being a human. There's nothing that, I'm not going to say you're going to be the best person out there, you're going to be a professional, but anything you put your mind to long enough, you will get better at. You probably get good at if you put enough time. And so you want your kids to not think, oh, I'm a genius, oh, I'm beautiful, oh, you want them to think, I'm a human being, and I can improve if I do the right things. And you want to teach that. If there's anything else we can add. Well, she showed that these creates hardy and resilient kids who learn more and perform better. This is kind of one of the things that I'm not doing it very well with y'all today is that I learned about being a professor was the professors that just lectured. They got more facts into the kids, but the ones that used discussion, the kids retain more, learn more, and were more likely to pursue that field. So, and we're going to get that toward the end of this, the way to deal with your kids. Lecturing them does not get them where you want. It's better to talk to them, listen to them. What's going on? Why were you kind of giving up? Well, you gave up. You had a poor score today. What did you learn from that? What do you think's going on? As opposed to, I had a parent in this morning who's like, I just don't think you're trying hard enough to the kid. But really, the kid was maybe not trying hard enough, but was just sort of shutting down when things were not going well. So we want to teach our kids to be process-oriented. And then the most powerful event in my life in sports psychology was when I had Jeff Schaefer come to my class at Sanford. I think I told y'all his daughter Kelly played soccer there. And Jeff got an award from the Olympics in 2000. It was called the Developmental Award. And by the year 2000, he'd taken 43 young people and turned them into Olympians. He's a dive coach at Auburn. And I got him to come talk to my class. And his daughter Kelly said he was a really quiet guy, and she was shocked he was talking so much. And I said, Jeff, what was the key to you turning all these young people into Olympians? And he said, when I was, after I finished diving at Wisconsin, I got a master's degree in special education. It would take 2 or 3 weeks to get a kid to take one pea on his fork to his mouth. He said, I learned to reinforce gradual change and to be patient. And that's how he did it. And that just sort of changed my life because, like, when we were working on that kid putting today, like, you want her just to, straighten that thing out immediately. And you've been working with her on her putting for a year or two? Longer. It's like, can we get like a 2% improvement here? But just seeing a little bit of improvement and reinforcing that. And that takes a lot of patience, doesn't it? So I always think about Jeff Schaefer. It's like, look for that real small change. Even in your spouse. Well, you never take out the garbage. They take it out one day out of the week instead of 0. You're like, that's great, honey. That's a good start. Maybe you get to 2 days. But you think, take out the damn garbage is what you think. And you don't even feel like saying, big deal, you did it one day. But if you want them to go to every day, you've got to look for it. And yes, what were you saying?
So Dwayne talked about in one of the videos you told us to watch about the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset.
Yes.
That's related directly to what you said.
Amen. And a growth mindset is what?
Well, I was hoping you could.
A growth mindset is that if you keep trying, it's all what this talk and what Jeff Schaefer's about.
Yeah.
See, he understood that a mentally retarded person could get a P there. It takes work.
Yeah.
And it takes patience. But if you keep trying anything, you can get there eventually. And that's a growth mindset. Fixed is, nobody is a natural scratch golfer, right? Nobody on earth can just, nobody.
Right.
My dad was a freakish athlete. My sister lived on a golf course. She handed my dad a golf club. He birdied a hole, and that's the only hole he ever played. But I do not think that would have, I'm like, I hate him. But I do not think that would have continued on that round. He would have ended up in the over 100. It just, whatever. Nobody is a natural scratch golfer. And so the fixed mindset is, I am a great golfer. This is the way I was born. That's why you don't say you're intelligent, you're beautiful. I mean, even improving your appearance takes work, you know? And so growth is that you can grow, versus fix is you act like you're just born that way. And over half of whether or not your kid's going to be a really elite golfer is the work. That's over half.